Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of Aquaponics World. And today I'm going to be doing the annual cleaning. So for the annual cleaning, I'm going to be replacing the magnetic impeller. And like I said before, I wrote down the dates that I do these, and I think that might be backwards. But anyway, that's May. Every May 1st, I do an annual cleaning because I purchased the fish tank and got it all set up in May. So that's how I know that I do the annual cleaning in May. But anyway, I'm going to be replacing the magnetic impeller, replacing the motor seal ring. That's the annual stuff that I have to do. I also have to do the 6-month stuff, which is the checking and cleaning of the ribbed hosing. That's the hosing on the tanks, the intake and outtake. Checking and cleaning or replacing half the quantity of the mechanical foam. And what I know about mechanical foam is just basically it's anything that prevents the stuff from getting through. So I'm going to try to replace half of that and replace the biofoam. I don't believe I have any biofoam in there. I'm going to replace half the quantity of the Biomax, and the Biomax is this stuff right here. It's just a mechanical filtration, but they call it Biomax. And I'm going to be doing the 3-month stuff. So that was all the 6-month stuff. I'm also going to be doing all the 3-month stuff. So I'll be checking and cleaning the magnetic impeller. Well, obviously, because I'm going to replace it. The motor seal ring, so I'm going to replace it. I'm going to check and clean the intake stem strainer. And I'll be checking and cleaning the biofoam, which I'm going to go ahead and cross that off because I don't think I have any biofoam. If you guys know what biofoam is, if you think that I have biofoam in my system, please put it in the comments. I'm just going to assume that everything that I have is mechanical foam. So that's it for the 3-month. I'm also going to be doing the monthly cleaning, which is check and clean the mechanical foam, rinse the Biomax, replace the carbon pad, and check and clean the canister. So I'm going to do my best to edit this video. I've been trying to work on some software on my desktop and upload my phone videos to my desktop so that I can work on that. I'm hoping that I can get that all organized and go through this process as quickly as possible, but thanks for watching, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. Alright, well, let's get this started. The first thing that I'm doing here is closing the in and out valves. And now I'm just going to unplug the pump unit. Now I'm going to detach the in and out valves. Drain the water from the pump. It's a gravity fed drain system, so you just open up that service hose valve and keep the hose below the pump and it drains out all the water. Then I just take the lid off, and there's about 8 little screws on the top. They're just hand tightened. Just untighten those. Take out all the stuff that's inside the canister. There's all kinds of filters in there. Oh, and by the way, I found out those are biofoam. I'm not sure if I have any mechanical foam now because I don't know, but I do know I have biofoam. I would assume that that's what that is. And just drain out the last little bit of water out of that. And because I'm doing the annual maintenance, I'm going to use a little tiny screwdriver here, and I unscrew the 3 screws. Take the what I would call the motor of the pump off. It's just an impeller is what it is, and it just
it's a magnetic impeller, so once you take that off, you can take that out of there, and it's just stuck in there by a magnet. And so there's the O-ring that goes on there, the motor seal, and I'm putting the new impeller back in there, and new motor seal ring just slides right on there. That just goes right back on, and then you just put the 3 screws back in. Pretty easy peasy. That's your annual maintenance right there in a nutshell, is just making sure that you replace your impeller and your motor seal. And those you can order from Marine and Reef. So before you do your annual maintenance, you know, get this stuff ready. Just order extras of everything. You'll need it. Extra Biomax, extra foam pads, extra valves, anything that you can think of that you can order for it. So notice here it says biofoam. That is the biofoam, which is a mechanical foam, but apparently they call it biofoam. So there we have that. So those go in there. Like every 6 months, you want to replace half of your biofoam. So you don't need to replace it all. I have 4 of those, so I'm replacing 2 of them. That's another thing that they call biofoam, but it's like a thicker black pad, and you replace those every 6 months. These are the carbon filters, and you replace those every month. There's one of those underneath that canister. So here I'm just putting back the old biofoam that I had in there, because you want to have, like I said, half of it you keep, because it's got biological bacteria and stuff that is helpful. And that's the Biomax, and it does say to replace half quantity of that. So that's what I'm doing here, is just taking out half of what was in there and putting half of it back. I did kind of rinse it out in some of the old water that I had. Same thing with the other canister. It also has some Biomax in it. And I did find that there was some pre-filter Biomax, so that's the one that I've got here, and I put that on the top layer. It's a little bit smaller. I'm not sure what the difference is, but this time I ordered both. So I just mixed that up with the old stuff, some of the new stuff, and here I realized that I wanted to have half and half on the top layer and half on the bottom layer. That way both layers have some good and some old, or some new and some old filtration. And then you just put the red hooks back in on the sides there, and that's what helps you to pick the whole thing up and put it back into the canister. So they're like little handles that you can use to drop in there. And I always take my plants out before I do any kind of draining of the water or cleaning of the tank, and that way I can get in there and move around a little bit easier. It's okay to take the plants out for a little while. Normally they stay submerged in the water at all times. And this is the ribbed hosing that you're supposed to clean every 6 months, I believe it is. So those have like 3 little hooks that are attaching them to the fish tank. So right now I'm just going to take those out, wash them, got them all washed out. And now I'm just reattaching them back on with 3 little hooks. So they're just clamped to the back side of the fish tank. Obviously the long one goes down to the bottom there, that's the intake, and it's got an intake strainer on it, so you know, I wash that off. And now I'm just filling up a bucket with some water using the garden hose so that I can refill the canister. Put a little water conditioner in there, wait about 5 minutes, and then I just take the water and pour it back into the canister. Fill that all the way up to the top so that it can help prime it. It is self-priming, but it does need to be full of water before it starts. And then just put the lid back on, put the screws back on, tighten those up. Those are all just hand tightened screws. And now I just push it back over there and reattach the valves. And those you just push them down real hard and they click into place, especially if you have a new valve. Open up the in and the out and plug it back in. And the pump starts working. Now I just use a little hand scooper and I scoop out the poop and the old food. Just toss it out the window, whatever. If you got a bucket, something like that, you can just toss it in there. But you want to just try to get rid of all that. That's why I like having the bare bottom, is because I can get out all the old food and stuff like that and know that it's nice and clean. And here I'm just doing the weekly maintenance, which is scrubbing off the glass. I'm not too sure what happened this week. The algae got really built up on the glass. I mean, it was super dirty in there, super funky in there. I forgot to mention it to you guys. I did add a new goldfish. I thought that, you know, Goldie might like a friend because Sharky had passed and Goldie was the only goldfish in there. And I know that they like to have a friend. So I had gotten a new goldfish. Not sure what happened. Whether Goldie shot her out with her fin and her speed and splashed her out, because I hear splashing in there, real loud splashing in there and stuff. I'm not sure what happened, but the new fish was on the ground. Obviously did not make it. And the water was just super filthy. Goldie was like super depressed, just kind of sitting at the bottom of the glass. It was a sad state of affairs, but yeah, you know, and this is why you got to stay up on your weekly maintenance. Last week I did not clean the tank, so I have no idea why it got so funky in there. I don't know. It may have just stopped working. For all I know, it's due for the yearly maintenance, so all kinds of bad stuff can happen. Alright, so now it's time to drain the water out of the fish tank. So you just close the out valve and open the service hose, and the water will just go straight out the service hose into a bucket, or in my case I just shoot the water right out the window. And once you're done draining your water, you just close the service hose and reopen the out valve.
Well, while I was draining the water out the window, got the water just about drained down to a quarter of the water, the pump stopped working. Noticed it was leaking a little bit again, and but the power just shut off, which it's never done that before. So off camera I took apart the whole thing, checked to see if maybe I had too much Biomax in the media baskets so that it didn't close right. And that wasn't the case. I have a single layer of Biomax in there. But then when I took this off and looked at the propeller, I had this old cap, this little tiny cap right here, was sitting on top of this cap. So that was the problem. There was an old cap inside here that I didn't get out, and so I had two caps on top of each other, and it didn't make a sealed fit. So I'm going to put it all back together and try and start it up and see if it works. Well, that worked. The motor turned back on, the water's pumping again. Thank goodness. It was just that little cap. So if you're changing out the impeller, keep an eye on these little caps. You got two of them. You get rid of the old one, get rid of the two little caps, and when you put in the new one, make sure the two little caps are in there.
Alright, so now it's time to just fill up the reserve tank. Got the garden hose out, just fill that reserve tank up with water so that we can fill up the fish tank again. And once it's all full, you want to make sure that you remember to put water conditioner in here. So I started to put the water back into the fish tank, almost forgot, but yeah, you just add that water conditioner in there, wait about 5 minutes, and then you can put the water back into your fish tank. So basically you just close the in valve and open up the service hose, and it will suck the water from the reserve tank and put it back into the fish tank for you. Once it's emptied out and you filled up your fish tank, you just close the service valve and reopen the in valve. So that's about it to it. Alright guys, that's everything for today. We did the weekly quarter water change out. We did the I did the monthly, and again, the monthly maintenance was checking and cleaning the mechanical foam, rinsing the Biomax, replacing the carbon pad, checking and cleaning the canister. I did the every 3 month. So check and clean the magnetic impeller, check and clean the motor seal ring, check and clean the intake stem strainer. And I did the every 6 month, which was check and clean the ribbed hosing, replace half quantity of the mechanical foam, and replace half quantity of the Biomax. And I did the annual, which was replace the magnetic impeller and replace the motor seal ring. So that's all there is to it. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Hopefully I can get this video edited a little bit better before I upload it. And if you have any comments, questions, anything like that, please feel free to put them in there and I'll read them. I always read my comments. Have a great day. Bye.